Hello, guys. Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Consciousness Evolution 41. That sounded so weird. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't sure how to wait to start off, but anyway, let's get into this video. Now, as you see from the title, well, I'm not sure what I'm gonna put this on name of the title, but I'm pretty sure what I know. What I'm trying to say. Oh, I'm pretty sure that I know what's the name the title going to be, but as you see from the title, I'm talking about how dramatically the industry had changed over the past years. So let's get into it. Now, the reason I brought up this topic, because I always think about stuff like back then, how things changed dramatically. Like, let me give you an example, right? Before I get into like the movie, hold on. Before I get into like the movie industry and stuff like that, let's get into the gaming industry, right? You got all these game developers, right? Let's use like I don't know. Let's use let me see. I'm trying to think of a decade. I guess no, let me just use the 2000s decade, right? The kids in the 80s and the 90s, they grew up with arcades, right? Let's go in order. I could be wrong with some of the stuff I'm gonna point out, right? Kids from the 80s and the 90s, they grew up playing arcades, right? They grew up playing arcades. Then until like the early 90s or the late 90s, we start having consoles coming out. No, I take it back. Around sometime in the 80s, they still had like video game consoles like the N64. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. I could be wrong. Feel free to let me know down below for all y'all gamers out there. I'm a gamer as well, but I forgot like the actual name of it. Nintendo 64. I think it's Nintendo 64, I believe. But like just look back all the consoles that they had of that decade, right? Of those generations. Then towards the late 90s, we started to have like they still had arcades and stuff, right? But consoles were starting to come out more as like you could take it home and play it, right? So then we got into the 2000s where arcades were still around, but consoles starting to take over the gaming world, right? Then consoles coming out, we got that, right? And till the 2000s, till I guess you could say present day, I guess you could say we still have consoles out now. But let me say this, like the late 90s to the early 2000s till all the way to 2019, I'm gonna say. We mostly have video games through CD, right? Now, Sony and Microsoft. No, I don't know about Microsoft, but Microsoft. Wait, no, I don't think Microsoft has that, but Sony, they have two different consoles, right? For the PS5, the PlayStation 5, the 5th gen, the 5G, right? They have the digital one, which means like you could download your games on there, right? You could stream your games, or you get the CD version, right? Sooner or later of those consoles, we will no longer have CDs. We just got to download them. And that's the future of gaming and movies. Because people will no longer go to the movie theaters and go and watch a movie, pay a ticket, and you got to sit at a different seat and everything, the ticket that you're signed to. No, everybody's not going to do that. Plus, also, Hulu and Netflix and future other streaming services is going to take over that, and they're going to we will no longer have movie theaters. But I believe that we still have movie theaters. It's the same thing with Blockbuster. We came from Blockbuster to Netflix now. We used to rent movies, TV shows, video games to Netflix, where you rent it out or you watch shit off of online now and everything. Like, the industry dramatically changes, bro. Like, let me use the music industry for example. Let's say like the early 1900s, right? People mostly listen to like jazz, folk, stuff like that, right? Till let's say all the way to 1960s, right? I'm gonna say, you know what? I don't know all the genres. I'm gonna be sure about honest with you. I don't know all the genres, but let's skip it from 1900s, where people listen to jazz, folk, all that, right, to the 1970s, where I could be wrong by the timeline of the music genres. What I'm pointing out, but we will plus also around that time, country was starting to come out a little bit more, but it wasn't popular. You know what I'm saying? So, but also you can look this video up yourself of popular musics of the decades, right? Then we get into the 80s, where pop, techno, electronic type of sounds, right? They're starting to come up, right? They're starting to make a wave. The 90s, dramatic change, you know what I'm saying? No, let me start this. In the 80s, we had, we were slowly starting having heavy metal and rap, hip hop starting to come out, but it wasn't really big popular till in the 90s. As in hip hop, I mean. Then in the 90s, we got hip hop, we got R&B was slowly growing in there. Matter of fact, that's what I want to point out. In the 1920s or whatever, right? R&B was slowly, rhythm and blues was starting to kick in, right? With the blues genre and stuff like that, right? But anyway, let's get back, right? Hip hop was starting to become a bigger genre. And now in the I ain't gonna say now. Then next thing you know, early 2000s, electronic, techno, I think I said it wrong. Electronic, pop, all that was slowly dying out dramatically, because hip hop was starting to grow bigger and heavy metal was starting to grow bigger. But we have a genre, I forgot what's the genre called, but I should know it because I stay be listening to it. But we had in the early 2000s, we had rap battle, like the Biscuit and them, keep rolling, them, all that, right? Slipknot was in this genre too. I think it was new metal, I think it's called. I don't know. But, they lasted for a little bit till they died out and everything. It's a major change. Like, music, look how far music came from the things that was popular back then to now. Right now, hip-hop is the biggest thing right now. No, I ain't gonna say hip-hop, because hip-hop and rap is two different things. But it's slowly coming back to hip-hop, which, hip-hop is the biggest music genre, as we know, besides K-pop, K-hip-hop, besides Korean type of music, Korean descent type of music. Hip-hop, long story short, music just dramatically changed. Now let's go to movies, the main thing I want to talk about. Shout out to the homie who play as, I know his name is Anthony, but shout out to the homie who play as Falcon from the Marvel movies. He's from New Orleans. Some people don't know that, right? So, he said that back in the day, the industry, the movie industry, right? It used to be about the actors. No. Is it the characters that make the actor, or the actor make the characters? It used to be about the actors than the characters themselves, to be honest. And you could see that too through the dramatic change of the industry, how things look. You know what I'm saying? It's a dramatic change. And he said that nowadays, people mostly people don't, back in the day, like you say, back in the day, people was not recognized as what that person played as or stuff like that. People mostly recognize that person as a celebrity that's in the industry, pretty much. If you're in the industry and you took a picture with somebody and you hung out with them, you consider as a celebrity back in the day. It used to be about the movie actors. It used to be about the actors. Nowadays, it's not about the actors, it's about the characters now. Now, he wasn't saying that like movies back in the day where people mostly focus on the actors, it was a bad thing. He's not saying that. Because people care about the characters back in the day, but it's I know what it was. It was the movie stars that make the characters. Nowadays, it's the character that make the movie stars. It's no longer, like, people will no longer say that, people don't recognize actors of who that person played as. They mostly care about the character than the actor themselves, to be honest. They mostly care about the story than the actors, the directors, the people who created the movies and TV shows, stuff like that. It's a dramatic change. Look at how good shows from Disney Channel, right? Look at the good shows from Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. Look all those good old shows to compare what we have now. It's a dramatic change. Let's use WWE, for example. WWE in the 90s, right? It used to be early 90s, right? It was good. Mid-90s, it was starting to have that good old edgy type of way, right? Late 90s, it was all about that attitude aggression, right? No, attitude aggression. Attitude era where, like, they could cuss, say whatever the hell they want, right? Early 2000s, they still had it, but it was slowly transitioning. Let me start this. From mid-2000s, from late 90s, mid-90s to the mid-2000s were TV 14 era of WWE, right? To compare what we have now, we have TV PG, right? Wrestlers. Is that Snapchat? Yeah, that's Snapchat. It used to be about the wrestlers, the storylines. Now it doesn't matter. Hold on, I might have to pause this. Hold on. Okay, you guys, I'm back. Like, wrestlers back then, wrestlers could be wrestlers. We all know that it's fake. We all know that we already know about wrestling, right? It's just now for all the wrestling fans that's watching this, you could make an argument and say that, it's because of the Chris Benoit situation and everything. By the way, if those of y'all who don't watch wrestling or anything like that, you could do your research on who Chris Benoit was and what he did. You go watch some of his matches. He is one of the most phenomenal wrestlers, but this is a different topic for a different day. But it's still a dramatic change. It's like one simple F up in the industry, it could cause a dramatic change. Am I right or wrong, right? Let's go back to hip hop / rap. Hip hop was not used to be what y'all think it is, especially the kids who are in the early 2000s and the late 2000s. Early 2000s and the 2010s. the 2000 babies and 2010 babies. Hip hop is not what it was as we make it to be. Hip hop was about rapping about life and stuff like that. Hip hop is like back in the days mumble rap. No, I ain't gonna say mumble rap because some of them, they wasn't even mumble rapping. Non-lyrical. Like, yeah, they were lyrical, but it was non-lyrical. They wasn't rapping about nothing, right? They wasn't talking about no stories and nothing like that. Hip-hop in the early 80s to the early 2000s, not early 2000s, early 80s, no, in the 80s and the early 90s, right, they were just talking about, that time period of hip hop was mostly for party type of hip hop, right? And people always say that, oh, they don't like rap because, the current generation of rappers, they don't rap about nothing. Well, you got to realize rappers was not rapping about nothing back in the day, except for one guy, I guess you could say, one guy. And I know I'm bandwagon, but of course, it's Tupac Shakur, right? I'm not going to get into Tupac because, I already know how he is now. Tupac was the only rapper that rapped about something that matters, right? LL Cool J wasn't rapping about nothing back in the day. Biggie Smalls surely wasn't rapping about nothing back in the day. Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G., the King of New York. He wasn't... Let me ask y'all a question. What does the song Juicy got to do with anything? What does the song... I love it when you call me Big Papa. Throw your hands in the air if you're true player. What that got to do with anything, right? Tupac was the only artist in that time period which rap about something. Now, in his run with the that group, I forgot it was the group, when he was humping Blow Up Dolls and everything, right? He wasn't rapping about nothing until he decided to go out on his own and create his own music and do his own thing, right? So Tupac was the only artist from the late 80s to the early 90s to the mid 90s till he died was rapping about something. 2000s went back to that same element. No, I take that back. The early stages of hip hop with LL Cool J and all them, bruh, they wasn't rapping about nothing in the early 2000s. Combine those two is what we got in the 2010s. Like, for real. Let's be for real. Like, I know this is a way different subject, but it still talks about evolution. It's still all about evolution. By the way, I'm texting, by the way, I apologize. But let me get off right quick. But it's still a dramatic change how let's go back to the Tupac situation. Tupac was the only rapper that was rapping about something. Okay, true. Tupac died. People wasn't really upset. Nobody wasn't upset when Tupac died. Let's be for real. Like, yeah, people was crying, but people was not really upset. Biggie Smalls was not crying. Now, you could argue, say that, oh, well, it's because people cope with death differently. And by the way, Biggie Smalls had a good-ass life. He just was portraying a gangster image of he was out there living that life. You know, I'm not going to get into that detail because, this is not that detail. This is not that video for today. Biggie Smalls, when he died, then it's a big, huge issue. Tupac and all those artists around that time period, they all could have been rapping about something that matters, but they didn't. It doesn't matter if it was Wu-Tang. It doesn't matter if it was NWA. I'm going to have to drop a separate video about those people.
You mean tell me only two people made a big, huge impact on hip hop, but not NWA or any of those people? You serious? Right? And this another part I'm thinking about making another video too about if racism was truly a thing, why would black people, why would people of color, why would Africans be making music become mainstream? For them back in the day, not today. You know what I'm saying? So, but that just shows how much a dramatic change it was from only two people that was rapping about stuff. Changes the rap game. Then in 2000 we got 50 Cent. I know. I'm gonna get back to the topic. By the way, we in the 2000s we got Eminem, 50 Cent, all Joe Budden, those rappers. 2010s. Early 2000s, we still had Lil Wayne and everything. Late 2000s, Lil Wayne started to be popular. Drake was starting to come out too. 2010, Drake was starting rising up and everything. And towards the end of the 2010s, we had the likes of XXX, rest in peace to him, Juice WRLD. Those good legends had died. And, every decade, hip-hop changes. 80s, it was a party rap. 90s, early 90s, it was starting to transition to that still good old rap. Mid 90s, it was a beef and war at that time. Late 90s, it was a beef and war at the time. Deadly and shit, right? 2000s, way worse. We had more beefs in the 2000s, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was all about that gangster image, shooting niggas, etc., etc. 2010s, it was just like a weird time period. We had rap, but it was it was just weird. Mid 2010s, we started to have that drill type of sound. We started to have that mumble rap. I guess you could say mumble rap type of style. Then slowly exiting out of the mid 2010s, we entered to a part where non-lyrical rappers were starting to pop up, but more lyrical rappers were starting to come up as well. Then the late 2000s, we starting to have more auto-tune rappers like Roddy Ricch, NBA Youngboy. Those rappers was coming out. And I'm gonna tell you this now: the decade of the 2020s decade of rap is gonna be nothing but auto-tune rappers. We already have that now, but it's gonna be more singing auto-tune rappers. Just look at the differences. That's why I said that this is the industry changes dramatically. Now let's go back to movies, right? I know this is all over the place, but it got something to think about. I hope it does. Back in the day, let's use horror movies for example, because I love horror. Let's look at the good old days of the Frankensteins, the Draculas, the Lost Lagoon monsters, King Kongs, Godzillas, all those, right? We went from that to Alien versus Predators, those, and then we moved to the slasher, the biggest horror genre of the 80s and 90s. We had the Jasons, the Freddys, the Chuckies. We had all of them. Early 2000s, I don't know what the hell happened, to be honest. I don't know what the 2000s had. I really honestly don't know. Matter of fact, the 2000s, we decided to do some reboots. 2010s, then we started to switch that shit over we left from icons of Frankenstein's, Dracula's, werewolves, to slashers like Jason, Freddy, the supernaturals, right? Then we left from the slashers to the reboots, to the paranormal activities of the haunting genres, where people are afraid of ghosts. For some reason, like, I don't know if I've seen a video, but I know I pictured this in my head as like a guy in the industry just walking, and the guy had a script out and he was talking like, yo, I want to be like this and everything. He like, dude, you gotta understand, like, the industry is not the same anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, the industry is not the same anymore. You know, these kids are not afraid. These kids are not scared of supernatural zombie horror or stuff like that. You know, they into that ghost shit. They into that hauntings where, like, it's realistic and everything, right? This is kind of falling into where WWE, where, like, we have, like, wrestlers that controls fire. We have wrestlers that control lightning. That's a voodoo, you know, deal with voodoo shit, right? Look back all the horror movies from back in the day to what we have now. We have icons, slashers, to fucking, what do we have now? We have Paranormal Activity Play It Out, so they're done. We have Insidious with that shit done. Horror is not the same. That's why I'm making this video telling y'all that the industry is not the same anymore. The industry, like 6ix9ine said, as much as y'all hate 6ix9ine for snitching, it's just part of the ritual that he did, bro. Which I'm gonna drop a video probably after this about him saying that the industry is rigged. And guess what? The industry is rigged. The industry is rigged, bro. But, bro, if y'all don't see the fact that how dramatically the industry changes, bro, I don't know what to tell y'all. The industry changed dramatically. You can't say it's 1, 2 people, 3 people that causes these genres of the industry to change. It is impossible. It is impossible. Now, I know what you're probably saying, oh, well, what about the revolutionary industries where we got Martin Luther King? He changed everything. And, bro, I don't have to explain it. I'm going to have to put a link in the video of Vaughn to Cuts, where he made a 6-hour video. Now, I know for a fact y'all ain't going to watch it, but there's timestamps of the video where he talks about Malcolm X. Bro, he exposes the thing, bro. Like, he was, like, exposing it. One of the most underrated YouTubers, spiritual YouTubers of all time. You know what I'm saying? The industry changes dramatically. Movie star doesn't make the movies. It's the movies that make the movie star nowadays, bro. It's not the wrestlers that make the matches and storylines. It's the merchandise. No, it's not the wrestlers that make the merchandise. It's the merchandise make the wrestlers. It's not the artists that paint the canvas. It's the canvas that make the artists. You see what I'm saying? It's a dramatic change. Like, it's not the game. Let me use video game for example. It's not the game that make the developers. Wait, what it is? Hold up. It's not the developers make the game. It's not the game that makes the developers. It's the developer makes the game. As in, no, I take it back. It's not the game that make the developers. It's the developers make the game. Wait, am I saying this right? It's the game that makes the developers. Wait, it's not the game that makes no. It's not the developers make the game. It's the game make the no. That still don't make no sense. It's not the game that make the developers. It's the developers make the game. As in, back in the day, they know what their audience want. Nowadays, they don't know what the audience want. Nowadays, we got games like Fortnite where we gotta. I don't play Fortnite, so we got games. Let's not use Fortnite. We got games that. Like that you gotta pay extra stuff. You have to unlock certain things in the video game. Like, look, like really go back and see what I mean. How this shit changed, bro. Like, it dramatically changed. I know for a fact, like, things will have to change, but like dramatically, every decade it changes. Like, why it can't be every 2 decades? You know what I'm saying? Because they know what they're doing. They know what these people. These people. I ain't gonna say the higher ups, because they're no higher up. I mean, yeah, they are, but it's like the same thing with the cell phones. Like how we went from flip phones to touchscreen phones. Like, for real, like how we went from good education to bad education. Like how we went from like kids burying their parents to their parents burying their kids. It's a change. It's brainwashing. It's a dramatic change. The industry, let's not use the industry no more. The world changed dramatically. It is a dramatic change that nobody thinks about. I think about this shit every day. Like how we went from this to this. How we went from, like, this is a part I'm going to have to talk about in another video as well. How we went from worshiping kings and queens or ourselves to worshiping celebrities like they're gods, right? Like I said, I'm going to have to drop another video too. But it's a dramatic change, man. It's a dramatic change. Like, I know I keep saying this over and over, but I'm trying to get it through your head. It's a dramatic change. How we went from Skype to Facebook. How we went from Facebook to Instagram. How we went from Skype to Twitter to Facebook to Facebook to Instagram to Snapchat. No, I take it back. Skype to Twitter to Facebook, Kick to Instagram to Snapchat. How did we went that far from that part of the beginning of social media how we went from that part from this part of the time period to that part of the time period? How we dress from looking like real kings and queens to dressing like we don't know how to dress. Like, it's a change, bro. When you try to go into this industry, whether you want to be part of the lawyer industry, lawyer industry, it's a change. You gotta realize that not everything's gonna be served because the system is corrupted. It is corrupted. How Tupac, like, I'm gonna bring this up. I know this is different, but how we went from back in the day where Tupac shot 2 off-duty European cops and did not go to jail for it, but a girl recently went to jail for killing her rapist because the guy was trying to rape her. Let me remind you, this European, by the way, this guy is European and this girl is African. Killed the European guy, and her reasoning is because the guy was trying to rape her
And the same guy who was trying to rape her was raping other kids. She goes to jail for it. So you mean to tell me it's okay for Tupac to do some fuck shit, but it's not okay for this girl to do some justice? Because she was the one getting raped and she was the one trying to help the kids out? The system is fucked. The industry is supposed to be the other way around, my nigga. Tupac's supposed to go to jail for shooting at 2 European cops, off-duty European cops. And the girl's supposed to be free because she did what was justice. It's a whole fucked up system. You know what I'm saying? The industry changed dramatically. But anyway, that's it for this video and everything. I hope y'all enjoyed. Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate each and every single one of y'all. Whether y'all don't watch the video and just leave a thumbs up, I just appreciate y'all. I appreciate what y'all do, bro. Like, hell, y'all probably appreciate me by saying, yo, thank you for dropping this knowledge on us, etc., and everything. Like, bros, like, I appreciate every single one of y'all, bro. Like, thank you. And everything. I would try to put something else better so y'all could look at, but, you know, I feel like this is a reminder for y'all. You know, instead of good morning, grand rising, wake up, rise up, sleep, rest, you know, the whole 9 yards right here. But, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, it was close to B9. But, you know, but anywho, I hope y'all having a great day or a great night and everything. And I hope y'all continue doing what y'all doing. Continue focus on your dreams and everything. Y'all could be whatever y'all want. Y'all could do whatever y'all want and everything. Just be aware of what you're getting yourself into, of whatever type of industry you're getting yourself into. Yeah, but this your boy Consciousness Evolution 41, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. And yeah, much love, positivity heading your way as always.